Here at the AnomicAge, we know that these times of uncertainty are stressful. It is incumbent upon all of us to put our fears first and bow down to government tyranny. Gone are the days of freely leaving your home, working, and social interactions. In exchange for safety, we will trade liberty. At the AnomicAge, we understand. However, just in case you want to get off your knees and stop being a sniveling coward, check out the JohnAge project at AnomicAge.com.
Meet Ann Morrissey, who is here with her daughter, Dareth. Dareth is 17 years old. Mrs. Morrissey, I don't have to tell you that most parents would be extremely depressed if their daughter came home one day looking like this. I assume that was your response shock, anger, depression? What was it?
I was extremely angry. I really went bananas.
Yeah, how old was she when this happened?
Possibly 13, 14 years old.
We're talking like it's a disease, isn't it?
Well,
yeah. How did she explain it to you, Mrs. Morrissey?
there was very poor communication until we went into counseling. And it almost broke up our family. But through counseling and Serena, I can understand it better.
What do you understand?
That she feels like she doesn't want to be like everyone else, and she wants to be her own person. And through the dress code and her lifestyle, she's expressing this. It doesn't conform with our rules, but we're learning to cope, and it's a very, very difficult thing.
Salon Real and Chevy.
Propagating truth in a world of lies. You are listening to the JohnAge Project.
Trust no one. Trust no one. Trust no one.
You found it. You're here. You're headlong down the runaway train that is the AnomicAge, and I am your host, JohnAge, coming at you in the not-so-wee hours of the PM. Thanks for being here with me. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support of the show. Much gratitude towards all the minions of darkness following this show. Please check out AnomicAge.com if you've not already done so. Please like all the likes. Subscribe to all the subscriptions. PayPal.me/AnomicAge. Patreon.com/AnomicAge as well. That's the best way you can do anything to help me out here in the show. So please do that. Jumping right into the deep end of the pool. I don't have a lot of time, and I know you don't either, so let's get on with it. Title of this afternoon's episode, Trump's Road to Hell. Trump's Road to Hell. That's the title of tonight's episode. Couldn't be more aptly put, I don't believe. So I'm going to give you the broad spectrum, and I'm going to focus it on Trump Daddy, and then I'm going to go broad spectrum again and give you kind of the deep end of the pool and how this whole thing connects. There are so many links, so many tabs open on this window. I started researching today's episode, kind of going down one path, pun intended, with the imagery there, and ended up going down three. And I'm not going to have time to concisely get into each one of those, but I'm going to try to make that happen a little bit later this evening, if maybe not on another day. And we'll kind of explore the different avenues of this indeed road that we are on. So I'll hit you off with some highlight reels of the buffet of buffoonery, the cavalcade of carnage that is America at the present day, anyway. Man, it's just, it's rough out there, folks. It really is. So I'm going to start out with this one. This is something you've all seen just all over your social media. I'll hit you off with it one more time, and we'll connect some dots, huh?
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor, speaking to you, or how does this work?
So the executive order is clear. The president has requested MPD services, and our home rule charter outlines the process. The president designated Attorney General Bondi as his proxy to request services through me.
All right, I'm going to shake this out several different ways. I'm just going to give you the clips. I'll give you a little short shisha, and then we'll move on, and then we'll connect these dots, folks, because this is obviously just comedy at its finest. This is the, I'm going to put this back on the screen, and you just roll with me one more time. I'm going to pause it, don't worry.
That's what the chain of command is now?
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking to the mayor?
Okay. So, can we rewind it just one more time? I want you to really take this in. Okay, that's a better view because it gives all three of these individuals. Okay? So we got the first lady here that does not know what the chain of command is. Let's hear it one more time because this is funny, but also sad. Here we go.
What does that mean?
Well, is it Pam Bondi speaking?
What? Holy shnikes. Full disclosure, I don't give a rat's enough to even know what these three individuals' names are. I'm just giving you the basics here. First lady that didn't know what the chain of command was the police chief of D.C. Okay? And then she's immediately backed up by this other woman who at least can figure out what the chain of command is. And then we got in the background lurking yet another woman. And all these three ladies are speaking to the fact that Trump has chosen to crack down on the crime-ridden bleep hole that is the District of Criminals. So, all females, all in ridiculous positions of power, but one not seemingly able to know at least basic language of what the chain of command is. Oh, my goodness gracious, sakes alive. Yeah, that's real, folks. No, don't pretend like you don't know what's going on here. I got one more image. At least I thought it did. What the Freaky Friday happened to that one? There we go. This is the one I wanted right here. Let me put this on screen for you. This is hilarious, too.
That's what the chain of command is now?
Oh, my goodness. This thing keeps popping up. I'm going to have to take it out. Get out of here, you punk. This individual on the screen, I covered this lady a couple weeks back. This is the police chief of Cincinnati. Remember this lady? Yeah? Let's just blow this picture up because you need a better picture of the police chief of Cincinnati. Remember this lady? Yeah? Teresa, remember her? Police chief of Cincinnati. We seen any common threads yet, folks? So this is the police chief of Cincinnati that was trying to blame this beating of some white folks by people of color on the media. It's the media's fault. It's not the ineptitude of the Cincinnati police. It's not the culture war that's been going on for a few decades now. It's not the promulgation of racist BS in K through 12 indoctrination, college, university weaponization. You know what is critical race theory or critical theory in general from the Frankfurt School. I'm dying to give you this whole piece, but I'm gonna pull it back because we got to just stay concise tonight. So, you seen any similarities at all between Police Chief Teresa here, and let me pull this one more time.
What the chain of command is now?
And these individuals.
What does that mean?
Well, is it?
These individuals there. Just throwing it out there. Once again, we have ladies in charge. We have diversity, equity, and inclusion. We see a common theme. We might not know their orientation, but we're going to see a common theme, I believe. All right, let's shake it out because we got to go to a different direction here. We're going to jump the shark. We're going across the pond. Let's go across the pond because I want to show you this one. This is the UK. There we go. It's just no sound on this one, folks, so don't stress it.
So there's no arrest of this
I'll
old
narrate
lady
for you.
here.
We got two elderly women in their 90s.
Look how proud
And
she
they're
is.
being hassled by the fuzz in the United Kingdom because they're protesting against their country being overrun by Muslim filth. Yeah, the destruction of the European culture, the destruction of the UK culture, the destruction of the culture at large because it's a culture war. But don't worry, they're not going after those migrants that are raping, murdering, pillaging all across the UK. Nay. They're going after these old ladies. And the coup de grace is that you've also got
She's
females,
tiny. She's
vastly
about 90.
females, even in their little hijabs. I'm surprised they didn't have some of these ladies in full beekeeper attire. So we definitely have the hijab ladies, females, and a couple of fellas who probably wish they were, taking these old ladies into custody. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, back into the throes of sanity, no one can seem to figure out why there's just off-the-chart rapes and murders and assaults all across Europe and the UK. Can't figure it out, and we're not going to do anything about it when we do. Because it's your fault, I guess, if you're raped and assaulted. And these pedophile rape gangs just run roughshod all over the continent of Europe and the UK specifically here. It's okay, because once again, it's the same old song. It's the same old song, because we'll play this while we're talking one more time.
So there's no arrest of
Because
this
it's
old
the
lady
female
here.
police in hijabs
Look.
hassling these two old ladies,
Look how
taking them
proud
into
she is.
custody. Nothing to see here, folks. And what's even more nauseating, repulsive, revolting, and otherwise disgusting is, of course, this is a lie. Land of the sheep, home of the slave is not just isolated to los Estados Unidos. Land of the sheep, home of the slave, I guess, is now all of Western culture. Good grief, this is sick, isn't it?
Keep moving.
Okay, enough of that. You didn't want to talk about that. You wanted the full boil down, didn't you? You wanted the full distillery of really what's going down. So, let's connect some dots, shall we? So the DEI is the culprit of excuse me, I'm choking on my water. Culprit of most of this disgusting BS, because there seems to be a running theme. I mean, we could connect the dots to the boobs, the big fat walrus fire chief that was letting the place burn in California. I mean, it's almost ubiquitous. We can go all the way back to Clinton, Bill Clinton, and Janet Reno, with these similar people. I don't know what the similarity is. You may be able to figure it out. I'm not sure what the similarity is. But there seems to be a running theme of these Walry people, of similar haircuts, and similar ideologies, and similar problems. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe you could give me some information in the comments as to what the real problem is. I can't figure it out. It's stupefying. It's mind-boggling. It blows my mind that we allow this to go on. But the real thing I wanted to get into, aside from the bipedal Walry with the short haircuts that seem to be running everything, I guess, we've allowed individuals like this to just take over in all institutions. But the real problem is that the road to hell is indeed paved with good intentions. And this will all connect in probably the follow-up show to this, because they convince the general public. I'm just dying to give you this whole thing. I'm not going to do it. They convince the general public to go along with idiocy under the guise of, let's just be nice. Let's just be kind. Let's just be tolerant. Let's just be accepting. That's what DEI is all about. That's what critical theory is all about. Let's go along with some garbage. And people go along with the garbage and give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And that's what happens. It's just like the gay marriage thing. Give them an inch, it becomes a mile. Just let everybody marry each other. After all, that's just people loving each other. Let's just be tolerant of it. Not in the eyes of God, it's called sin. But I digress. So they've convinced the general public, let's just be tolerant, let's just be nice, let's just have the same people running things all over the place. It can't seem to run a one-party parade, folks. And it's always the same manure pile, isn't it? So that brings us to where we are with the Trump regime volume 2. Because when old Trump baby first got in regime 2, it seemed innocuous enough to many folks, on the right anyway, because you had Elon Musk. We'll just give Elon Musk power to look into the books a little bit, right? Not a big deal to many people. Okay, well, let's see if we can flesh out some of these criminals. Let's see if we can look into this government overreach. Let's see what we can do about this. Well, the problem is, it kind of let the camel's nose in the tent flap, if you know what I mean. And now we got the camel, 2 humps, 4 legs, and all kinds of fur up in the tent. Because people went along with that under the guise of, we're going to flesh out the deep state. We're going to see where all this oversight and overspending is actually happening. Okay, well, that happened, but the coup de grace is, and then nothing happened. So these criminals didn't go anywhere. It was just kind of pointed out, hey, they're overspending. They're stealing our monies and putting it in nefarious projects, plans, plots, schemes, and not to mention every third world despot under the sun. Okay. So this is all kinds of wrong. Then what? The only thing I've even seen of note is apparently PBS is going under. I guess they're getting defunded. Maybe they're going out of business. Who gives a rat's patoot, really? In the grand scheme of things, I mean, what? You won't see reruns of Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street anymore? Okay. That's a big win. I mean, yeah, take the money from these commie scumbag organizations. Better yet, how about you take the money from Israel, from Ukraine, from every other third world despot under the sun? Could we do that, please? Nah. But PBS is going down. All right. I guess. It's like Al Capone is running Chicago in the early 1900s, and the mayor busts like a guy running numbers on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy's busting a guy running an auto shop that's stealing cars. That's the level of just, who cares in the grand scheme of things, really. But again, it really wasn't about that. It was about getting the camel fully in the tent. So people went along. Some people didn't go along. Well, let's just let Musk baby check things out. Maybe he's got a better understanding. Whatever. Don't care. Great. Okay. The bottom line is no one has gone to prison. Okay? No one has been arrested for the child trafficking, for the pedophile rings, for anything that actually matters. Nothing. Okay? Just so we're clear. Somos son claro, no? But wait, there's more. Because that wasn't enough. Because then we got J.D. Vance's buddy, the guy that gave him the golden parachute for Palantir, Peter Thiel. You got that little connection. So now we got the big, beautiful bill and Peter Thiel getting all kinds of money to fund an Israeli spy ring. I mean, to fund Palantir, to spy on those Americans. You can't make this up, man. So to spy on the Americans, and of course we already know the primary target, right? We heard that last week on the episode. Remember Perro in D.C. was coming out and said, we're gonna hunt you down, we're gonna get you if you do anything disparaging to Israel. And then we've got countless universities already getting defunded, people getting arrested, kicked out, and stuff. You said something bad about Israel, this tiny state that's not even the size of New Jersey. We're going to get you. Like this bunch of bull butter, right? So don't worry, Palantir, the IDF spy ring that's now getting tons of your tax dollars, will be used to collect data and spy on you. It's all AI, folks. Did you not see the image I put on your screen there? That one? Yeah, the big spooky one. Can we get a bigger of that? Yeah. The spooky AI skull with all the Matrix themes behind it. Yeah, that's the deal, folks. Palantir is not just, your grandpappy's spy network. This isn't bugging the Watergate Hotel in the early 70s, folks. This isn't that. This isn't like, click, click, I hear something on my phone. Is my phone being tapped? No, folks. It's far, far, far more sophisticated than that. This is the real deal. This is the Terminator. This is everything that you've been warned about in numerous sci-fi novels and movies over the last 50 blipping years. It's now come to light. It is real. It is Skynet. You're getting Skynetted right now. I mean, the threat fusion centers weren't enough, were they? I guess that wasn't enough during the Obama regime and the Bush baby regime. The Patriot Act wasn't enough. Obama spying on presidential candidates and American citizens, that wasn't enough. The TSA giving you a shakedown, a pat down, and maybe a little more at the airport, that wasn't enough. The nude body scanners selling your images, that wasn't enough. Let's hire imperious employees to shake down the Americans at the airport. That wasn't enough. The FBI coming out and getting all kinds of targets that look like old women and children to shoot at with your tax dollars. That wasn't enough. Now we've gone full-scale Palantir. Skynet is real. It's alive and well in 2025. It's been there for a while, but now you know, and your tax dollars are funding it. Thanks to the big, beautiful Bill, Peter Thiel, and the lovely J.D. Vance connections. You remember J.D., whatever he's calling himself these days, the never-Trumper. They got all kinds of money from Peter Thiel and Palantir after he got the golden parachute to run for office. Remember that? Yeah, of course you do. So, much like all the aforementioned, much like the Patriot Act, say it with some dignity. Push me chest out. Patriot Act. Yeah. You're either with us or you're with the terrorists. You're either with Israel or you're with the... What? Yeah. Wasn't a Freudian slip, folks. That's the real of the deal, man. You're either with Israel or apparently you're a terrorist. Apparently maybe Palantir will scoop you up. Maybe they'll send some drones to your house. Maybe some of them lovely drone policemen will show up. Maybe it'll be a bunch of those short haircut types, or maybe they'll come with a hijab and a full beekeeper outfit and swift you away quietly into the night. Anybody recall the black site that was in Chicago? This was uncovered like 15 years ago. It was a blip on the radar for about a day, and then it got whisked away. Black site right there in Chicago. CIA, NSA, we don't even know who was running it, folks. But it won't the Crips and the Bloods. It was the government. So, once again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, allegedly. And that's what this whole thing's about, folks. Every time you turn around, it's for your safety. It's for your protection. It's the nanny state. The nanny state is a legitimate rollout of short haircutted Walry police people that are coming to protect you. The nanny state isn't a figure of speech. It's a real thing. This is what's quote-unquote protecting you. Everything you went through with the COVID hoax was to protect you. Did you forget about that? 6 feet apart, walking around like flowers for Algernon in a grocery store, wear your mask, hand sanitizer, come out of the house looking like something from the Andromeda strain. That's all for your protection. And if that wasn't enough, then you got Trump, baby, giving you, what's it called? Operation Warp Speed, of course. The best thing ever. I mean, he was saying this last week. It's for your protection. We're giving you the best thing ever, right? Just like the Patriot Act, folks, I submit to you that Palantir is not to help you. It is to eliminate you. The trucks are on their way. The trucks are on their way. Remember from Soylent Green? But that's not even enough, because we are also seeing now, that's what this whole front-end loaded piece was about. Remember this goodie? I didn't have it on the screen. Remember this goodie from when we first began?
That's what the chain of command
This
is
thing?
now?
Yeah, remember that thing? That whole controversy in D.C. earlier this week was because Trump is talking about putting the military on the streets in D.C. and Chicago too, maybe New York City, maybe L.A., maybe Dallas, maybe Durham, the Queen City of Charlotte even, maybe Atlanta. We'll put the police everywhere. And it's the same old song, folks. It is problem, reaction, solution. It is the premise of the scientific method, aka the Hegelian dialectic. They create the problem, they cause the reaction, and they offer the canned solution. The final solution, if you will, folks. Because just like magically hundreds of TSA uniforms and hundreds of body scanners just popped up out of the clear blue sky after September 11th. Remember that? Project for a New American Century. We need a new Pearl Harbor to galvanize public opinion so we can go in and take out some more countries in the Middle East. So, I guess we're going to see the military on the streets of America. And you got half the populace going, great, go get them, Bo. But you don't seem to get it. You don't seem to get the precedent that's being laid out. Because I'm all for the police on the borders, maybe. And I'm all for the military on the borders, maybe. But when you start actually going into the country, then you might have a problem. I don't even know if it's a good idea on the borders, folks, because people live in this rose-colored glass, half full of the police and military, benevolent love, people that just want to help old ladies across the street, kind of like in the UK. But that's not really how it always works out, is it? It just doesn't seem to work out that way. What is going on with this? This is really irking my mule here. I didn't realize this was here. This is going to make me crazy. There we go. I'm going to just go ahead and fix this live on the air because this is going to make me want to kill if this continues. There we go. Once again, no matter how hard you try, it's going to be more mental issues or technological issues on the show. That's okay. I got them covered. I'll fix them as they show up, just while we're talking. So, once again, the camel is now fully in the tent. We got half the American people accepting this for your love and benevolence, and we just care about you so much. But they don't get the precedent that, guess what? Trump's only going to be around for maybe 3 more years. I was going to say if we're lucky, but I don't even know if we're lucky anymore. 3 more years, and then you're going to have some other... I'm going to try to clean it up. You're going to have some other person in there. Left, right, it doesn't really make a hootie-poo, really. But then they'll have the reins and the legal precedent for his bull butter. So if they don't like, I guess, your criticism of Israel, they'll send in the troops to kill you. If they don't like what you're posting on social media, they'll send in the troops to kill you. So that's really the problem with all this. I saw a video, I didn't even pull this one to put on the show, but a video a few moments ago where they had a bulldozer taking out bum camps all over D.C. Okay, I mean, I'm not for bum camps either. But once again, it's kind of emblematic of a larger problem. It's not really addressing the real problem, which would be the criminal corruption in every single institution throughout this nation, primarily those communist-run police polls. So, you're kind of, I don't think you're winning hearts and minds so much as you're just sending troops in, a la Iraq, to mess stuff up, and then it kind of leaves a sour taste in the mouth of all the people that actually live there. Oh, not to mention the political overreach, which means, they can just sort of take you out. Maybe they'll ship you off to another black site or something if they don't like what you're posting, what you're doing. And of course, if you ever in your mind criticize our greatest ally, the greatest ally known to all of humanity, Israel. So I think that's the real deal, folks. That is the problem. The camel's in the tent, and you got two factions. Those who don't like it, those who do like it, and I guess those of us who have just black-pilled to the gills and know it's all just a bunch of hooey. To me, I'm kind of in that it's all a bunch of hooey, you know? I don't see any difference between the right nor the left anymore. This is typical government overreach. Sounds good when you're saying we're just going to get the bums off the street. We're going to take out the crime. Not so good when they identify you as the criminal, when they identify your house as no longer necessary, when they identify you as the thought criminal and whisk you away to Guantanamo Bay, never to be seen from again. That is where you got problemas. Or as the Sex Pistols said, problems. All right, folks, that's a little bit to chew on. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be seeing you sooner than later in the AnomicAge.
Thank you for listening to the AnomicAge, a JohnAge project. For past shows, further info, and to comment, go to AnomicAge.com. That's AnomicAge.com. Till next time, thank you for listening to the AnomicAge.